the Wi-Fi on the flight. Is that what you're
Oh
saying?
yeah. No, thank you.
So
Well,
everyone can see what's going on. I mean, we'll see where I'm at. I should be at the airport. I just told Jason I wouldn't be here just for the worst case scenario. And we'll go from there.
yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to March 21st. So today is the end of life day for Bluebeam drawings.
Ooh.
So it was supposed to be the end of life day for Revu 19 and below. They've prolonged that until June, but today Bluebeam drawings is no more. So for the two of you that may have used that in the past,
Two of you.
it's gone. Wrapped into Bluebeam Cloud.
Yeah, and I actually had a client ask me the other day, or ask one of our sales folks the question about, I can only upload 5,000 drawings. So that's pertaining to drawings only, which is now gone. So if you're looking at your old licenses, you should probably upgrade anyways, because that's what was reflective of a drawing limit, was to drawings, which was Bluebeam's application that you're able to view PDFs mobilely, which rolled into cloud.
Mm-hmm. All right. I've got your question, Matthew. So today we're going to sort of build upon last week with estimation. But first, we got some questions that we just want to knock out. Some of them are somewhat related, some aren't. So we're going to be a little bouncy today between our topics. So today is the day to have any questions queued up. But we're going to answer some questions first that were sent in via email, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of what we do here. So I'll pitch these questions to you, Michael, if you want to fire up the software and get it ready.
Yes.
Because some of these I don't know the answer to. So we're going to have to do some experimentation, proper MCR style, and see what we can do.
Perfect.
All right. So let me fire up these questions.
Why can't I? Whatever. I'll just leave this in the background. Sorry. IT issues.
Yep.
I don't know why it does this. Like, I was just like,
yeah,
whatever. So I'll just go through you.
All righty. So I'm just going to do these in order. I know we're going to get to some of these later, but like I said, we're going to be bouncy. Bear with us.
David, in this case, it is an IT issue where you have to be VPN for most things. So
yeah,
typically I don't blame IT, but in this case, it is.
Exactly. All right. Number 1 is involving quantity link. Oh, I can just hear blood boiling already. So the question is, are you able to export takeoff quantities to a specific cell on an existing Excel spreadsheet? And the answer is yes, absolutely you can, if you have Revu Extreme or Complete subscription. If you have that installed and you have the plugin for Microsoft installed, you are able to take a quantity only from Revu and have that link live to Excel. It's pretty cool. We might get into that this afternoon. We have done other full episodes on just that tool because it is not super intuitive. I don't know. So yeah, there's one. Question number 2, and this is the tricky one. All right. When a layer is assigned to a tool set, it doesn't register for multiple takeoffs. For example, a linear takeoff in my tool chest has a subject of insulation, linear, with the layer set and saved as insulation. If I do a takeoff, it registers the layer correctly. I then do the same takeoff on a different part of the sheet, and the layer is no longer there for the next markup. How do you get the layer to be there for each takeoff? So
Are you pitching me the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me reread it. I was multitasking, as you could tell. That's why you gave me this sad face.
Yeah, losing layers has been a problem. What was it, 20 dot?
Yeah.
And 20, yeah. So depending on what version you're on, Matthew, that could be part of it. That it's just, that's the bug in Revu that's dropping those layers. No, it wasn't Vince's question, but yeah. So that one's up there. Yeah, Revu 20.7.85 or Revu 21. Can you check what version you're on, Matthew? Put that in the chat, please. All right. So in the meantime, I'm chalking it up to that. Let's see what happens. And then also,
Okay, so I have a stop on one question. Are you good for another question that you're trying to get answered right now?
yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this one's from Alex. Are we aware of the roadmap? I think maybe we should try to get in contact with Peter to get him back on. I know when he was having his conversation on here, their idea was more geared towards cloud. I would hope they didn't just forget about Revu. In terms of roadmap and new implementations of new items within it. But if we all remember, that conversation was geared towards cloud, and maybe that was our fault for gearing it towards cloud, and not really asking a roadmap on Revu and where the roadmap is for Revu.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there hasn't been anything new in a while, and this software is just getting more and more, leveraged and implemented in firms across the world. So it seems like it would be something that they need to be on top of, and I'm sure that they are. It's just a matter of figuring it out and focusing on cloud right now, because that field workflow seems to be in high demand, and that's a very competitive space, right? So I think they're probably comfortable with their PDF solution being Revu, but they really want to take on more of that construction market with the Bluebeam Cloud, and I could see them going hard on that. So
yeah,
who knows?
Because it sounded like from his point of view, their dev team was like really focused on getting things produced for cloud. I mean, I haven't heard of, when was that released?
Cloud?
September.
Yeah.
And there was like incremental updates to cloud where you have like MySpace, My Place, it's not MySpace, it's My Place, for you to work on your own documents. And then they added some little modifications to your tool chest where you can add and delete from there. So they're making tweaks without because they don't have to update people in terms of like your desktop to be made aware of it. They're just updating the cloud. So I would wonder, is there going to be like some type of big resurgence of something changing in Revu? I do know Revu 21 is going to probably be here for a long while, in terms of Revu 21 or Mega Super Ultra, and they're going to push patch updates to it. Is that how they're going to release new ones?
Yeah.
There's a question. Can we give some basic tips on estimating? Do we want to quarterback that into when we circle back to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So today was intended to be a continuation of last week, where we started with basic tips. So if you didn't see it last week, check that out on YouTube, because we got more into the basic stuff for estimation and links and counts and sequences and stuff.
And let's show the good old YouTube.
Yeah. And today we're going to do something a little bit more and answer some questions, because there's been a lot of questions this week, and we want to make sure that you guys are taken care of and not struggling.
Yeah, and here's our lovely YouTube channel. From here you can scroll down to videos. So we have all of these wonderful videos not pertaining to Bluebeam, and then you can, which I highly recommend checking out, segue back down to here. Yeah, Bluebeam tips and tricks. You can go to different playlists. These are more of, I think some of them are like in here and here. All of them for MCR are here, but there's also some quick tips, some old webinars when we used to do webinars. Those were a thing. But I'm laughing because webinars used to be a thing for us. And this is what we have now, which is great. A live podcast.
Yeah. So estimation basics right there.
Yeah, right there. And there's a bunch more down here. So if you want to scroll on down and look at everything we've ever done, there's over 100 episodes as of number 10. So add a couple in there of content.
Crazy talk. All right. Brian's got a question, and I haven't seen this one. So I'll pitch this one this is a question for everybody. They've seen some issues where either the stapler or the Bluebeam plugin in Word, when you're using it to create PDF files, images and text get shifted around slightly, moving the page breaks and adding additional pages with a single line of text. Is this something that we've seen? And if so, are there any recommendations? So I haven't seen that one, but honestly, I don't use the stapler or the Bluebeam plugin in Word very often at all. Honestly, it's probably been over a year since I've touched either one of those.
I mean, I print a PDF, but
yeah,
I haven't encountered it. And I mean, for writing template reviews with snapshots and images, I haven't seen any, and I add snapshot images into my Word doc. I haven't seen it. In my typical Word docs around 16 to 20 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have anything more than that, then maybe that's part of the underlying issue. But I haven't encountered that, and I'm printing to PDF using the PDF writer. However, I'm not using the add-in, so maybe that's it.
Yeah,
I go file, print, and then the writer. Yeah,
that's what I would test first. Brian, is you print the PDF and then try the plugin and see if if that's what's actually causing it. But Word and page breaks, that's a nightmare fuel for me. I always struggle with, especially when you get images in Word. Oh boy, it tricky.
yeah.
But good question.
Alex said the Word plugin is handy because it defaults the save as the location to where the .docx is stored, and then sounds like a review question, morning coffee review question for
save as to Word or save as to PDF. I never thought of that. I was just hit print and send it to Bluebeam driver. That's my default printer anyway, because I try not to print
it's
from
the
my home
add-in for
office.
sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, for me, the add-ins come free with any version of review, just so we're all aware. So if you go into here, the add-ins, regardless of what tier you have, you'll have access to these. And that's the issue that's being had is the plugin. However, I tend to not go to this. And we can look at what our settings are and where we're going to save this. But you can also change your settings here if you wanted to for how this is going to be set up. And maybe there's something to do with the settings in here. The native Word settings.
You can export to PDF. So Brian's saying that when you print, it doesn't create the bookmark. So that's a very good use case for not doing print. Yeah.
Word bookmarks.
There you go.
But yeah, for me, right, I'm still using the writer, but I do the good old file print to the Bluebeam writer. So maybe the need for bookmarks and association for those would be helpful too. So pros and cons. But again, all MS Suite gets add-ins for free. Even Outlook. I have used the Outlook feature for batch exporting and archiving an email chain for just archive for correspondence with, you could say for a project. So if you ever wanted to archive an entire folder of PDFs, of emails as PDFs, you can too using the plugin. Let's see. Anything else?
I think that's it for the questions. If there's any more, now's the time to ask, because then we're going to get back on topic, allegedly. Yeah.
And New Forma is better. So you can plug into New Forma using Studio Sessions if you want to use that as your file storage, David.
Right.
That's an option too.
Interesting.
When using the stapler or the plugin, that's yeah. So the other one's a stapler. For those folks that didn't know the stapler, if you ever right click on a PDF, you can right click on a PDF, and then from there you do have, or it was the shift option, I think was the one. Oh, shift right click. There we go. You get the stapler, and thanks for, I think Alex said that tip, or is it someone else? Okay. Combine files in review, convert files in review. So this is the stapler option that you have.
Yeah. Interesting. Hold shift. So yeah, another question. Can you print emails to PDF with attachments linking for archiving purposes? You can do that through Outlook. I believe that wouldn't necessarily be a review thing, but
I think it's more of just can't with attachments. Do the attachments show up with the archive? I'll have to test it. My brain is pretty foggy on if it does go with it. I just did a whole like string, Ben, but we can definitely test it.
All right.
I'll let you go through some of those while I do this real quick.
Yeah. So I think we're good there. Yeah, it works with that other PDF software, but not on Bluebeam. Yeah, I haven't tried that one, so might try it, but kind of don't want to pull up Outlook and all that stuff on the screen.
It just brought the email up. One page. Let's see. Is there some settings?
You need to email with attachments though. Like,
yeah, there are attachments in that one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I have that email too. All right.
You do.
There's gotta be a way.
I think you have to do it from the folder.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I remember having to troubleshoot this for someone. So let me try the select folders. All right, so you keep going.
Yeah. All right. So another question that came up, and it's back on topic of doing quantity takeoffs and doing estimation inside of Revu. One thing I don't think we've covered in a long time, and that's how to do a wall area. So if we could cover that, that would be so well.
A wall area?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there more, or am I taking up time?
No, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out what.
Oh, making PDFs of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to. This is the folder method.
Oh, you're archiving in a whole folder?
Yeah, but I'm seeing if that brings the attachments.
Okay.
Nope.
No attachments. Well, it's worth a shot.
Worth a shot. Okay. I'm back. Let's go.
All right. It's back to Revu now.
Okay.
Back to Revu and pull up a architectural plan, a floor plan of some sort. And let's get a wall area of something.
Okay. So if we're going to go through, first we need to set scale. 30 seconds. Yeah. Okay. So as we go through here, what we're able to do is take an area measurement. And I guess, what would we typically probably do? It'd probably be area. And I think in the properties for the area measurement is going to be my options. We're going through, and sorry, the measurement. We have area. And then
Use depth.
Yeah, but we need to know the height. Which one is it that gives us that?
Area, perimeter, or poly length, according to Doug. Oh. And yeah, so we'll do this and then we're going to jump back to that PDF thing.
Wasn't there one that had wall?
That's what I remember. I don't remember ever using the tool because I'm a civil guy, but you need to add it to the display in the drop down above viewport. Drop down above. Oh,
I'm looking because wasn't there one that had specific to it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I could have sworn there used to be a wall depth.
So that little drop down, right now where it says area.
Yeah.
Go to the left. Nope, the one below that. There's that little box. Yeah. Wall area.
There we go.
Enable that.
Okay.
Oh, it didn't show up though.
But this, maybe it's a different measurement.
Because then you got to add it up top. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Okay. But where am I adding it at? It's giving me the command. So let me just go through.
The caption. Okay. You got to add a depth. So if the depth, let's make it 8 foot.
Okay. So the depth could be height.
Yeah.
Okay. So confusing terminology from depth to height, but because this would be width and height of this, and then we're using the depth either as your down or your height.
That is confusing. That height should be.
That's why I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, I got my wall area, but what am I doing? Okay, so we'll just do 10 foot. Okay.
And then there's your caption on the actual screen in your markup or wall area. Ta-da!
So let's go through and like change that then.
Yeah. Yes, Sheldon, I'm with you. Z value. Oh, you're getting after it.
I snapped a content zone, so we'll just hope it's the best. Which you wouldn't do, everyone listening in, right? No.
Yeah. And then what does it use to calculate the wall area when you use an area markup with depth perimeter? Yeah, it would be length width times height. I would imagine. No. Yeah, no width. Yeah.
To answer your question about accounts, let's see. There is, I just didn't want to see it first without trying everything.
Yeah, it's odd to use an area tool to calculate the plan height of a wall, right? That's where polylength would be better because you're gonna have door openings and stuff.
Yeah, I still think you can use it with polylength, right?
Yeah.
I need to close this dynamic. So we'll do still that option, wall area. Then we'll do depth of 12 feet, which would be height, right? So
show returns that aren't elevated. Yeah. Interesting.
So to answer your question, account can't be rotated, but a markup can't. So
yeah, so let's rephrase that question or announce that question.
Oh yeah, because YouTube's probably watching. Like, what are you talking about?
The question is, are you able to rotate a custom icon during takeoff? So like a receptacle icon for count.
Because if it's a markup that's not a count, right, you have your rotation. But when it's a count, it's a count.
Yep, exactly. So no way to really change that. Bummer. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're caught up on our questions.
Perfect. So anything else as we let things fire away before we get into our topic of quantity and link, which I have been taught that most folks that are doing advanced quantity items will use Power BI, thanks to being enlightened by Vince and Doug. Right. Just because your quantity link is a feature of complete now or extreme in the old license tiers, just so we're all aware. It's still the highest tier on each end if you're going from 20 to 21. But being aware that quantity link only allows you to link in measurement values. So as you're going through and creating a quantity link, it's specific to the measurement values that you have available. So as we look at here, we have some measurement values, area length. We'll just take things from here. I'm going to save as just to show an example of what can be brought in. Let me save this to my desktop so I don't overwrite this. MCR and then a D for delete, which I'll never delete because we'll all see it again. But going back into here, open up Excel. I hope my Excel doesn't need to be patched again. As always, I just have to repair my files to get quantity link to work. But that's okay. So let's just go make sure. And maybe this doesn't happen with 21. I haven't tried it with 21. So maybe, we're looking good now. But as we go through, we have the option to do a quantity link. So if we're going to go and add source data into any cell that we want, we have the option to right click and you'll get this plugin option here. Not only, again, do you get this with any tier, this is enabled with complete or extreme. So if I go to quantity link here and I go and hit create, I can create a reference from file source document. So it can be multiple documents into one Excel file that you're able to link the data to. And let me go and grab this source one that I just created. There we go. And now it's going to grab the data from this one, and you could add more than just this singular one, right? So you can add more PDFs that if you're trying to get more data from those PDFs as well. So from here, now I'm able to go and grab information from that PDF. Now, I would have gone through and taken the time to create custom columns or layer states, anything to help me sort my data that I'm trying to look for. Because when you go through and look, you get to pick the type of measurement you want to look for, like wall area, and then what's it coming from. So if you've taken the time to create specific subject matter, layers, author, you can go through and sort by that data here, right? So it could have been the color of the markup, but I'm going to go by the area of the measurement or count or poly length. And we'll just use the poly length one for this one. And then, and you can do even further. So adding more statements as you're going through and trying to sort your data and grab that information. And once that's here, it is updated into here. The great thing about this as well, as I side by side this, I guess didn't side by side it, but that's fine. So as I side by side this is that this will update with your markups. So your source file will update from here as you're going through and updating your cell of data. So being aware of that, that is one of the added benefits of using Quantity Link. And I guess you could say, well, if you use, Power Query, which is true, which I was enlightened by, you can export and just save over and it updates your data there. So just being aware of the two different sides of the coin. If you are looking to, or if you have complete, so all of you folks transitioning from Review 20 to Review 21, and you had active maintenance, you all roll into complete. So if you want to use it, you're not paying extra for it. You're already rolled into the highest tier. When you're looking more from the perspective of purchasing new subscription-based licenses, I'd investigate, right? Are we going to use Power Query? If we are there things that, Core will have that Complete will not have? I always recommend looking over the list. We just like to divulge the information here at ATG to everyone and let you make the informed decision. We never try to persuade you to go any other way except for here's everything, you decide, apples to apples.
Exactly. So yeah, it can be a heated topic. The quantity link works good if you temper your expectations of what to get out of it, right? Yeah. For the stuff that you've laid out, this is perfect, right? You can still do your formulas, do your things. It will update automatically, but it comes with a little bit of, caveats. So play with it. Don't play with it and expect magic on the due date, but it's a pretty cool tool overall.
Yeah. And just being aware, right? It can be multiple source files. So if you had another document, you can always update these. So you can hover over the quantity link, you can hit edit. And from here, you can re-update this data, or you can go through and say, hey, you know what? I need to add and manage my source files because someone or so-and-so, me being the one that's doing the quantity takeoffs, need an overall estimate for the job site for, multiple PDFs. And then you can go through and add more from here as well. So again, as long as you would want to be using the same profile because it has all of the same information, the same tool sets because it has all of the same markup information, right? The measurement's going to be different, but the markup information is going to be the same. So it's pulling that same information in. So being aware of how profiles work, layers work, and also tool sets, assigning those layers before you send them out to your colleagues, and then also your custom columns, okay?
Exactly.
Going back into here, manage. This looks just like the linked cell data. So if you wanted to edit it, It's the same thing. It's just writing out that kind of script format of what it will be publishing. Links connected. I'm assuming this is so you can unconnect the links. Yeah. So you're just pausing the data. Preferences, apply fill. So you could fill the color, include units or not include units, include markup quantity. I guess that's part of just the specific cell. And maybe that's when you add a new one. Let's see. We'll add it from the area measurement this time. Yeah, it's the new one. Cool. And it actually gave me a quantity of the markup of how many of those were made. That's cool. Yeah. So that was under preferences. This quantity give me how many are there. So if you needed another cell of data, which you can then hide if you wanted to just hide that information, but give you a value. Sorry.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah, and the fill colors, like, I want to get creative and not include units, because that was always a frustrating thing. I remember we were trying to learn this, the units, if we didn't want to show the units, because we had a different cell that was already showing you the units, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully that was helpful, Matthew, and hopefully that enables you to do what you were looking for. Sorry, we didn't have an answer for the icon thing, but that was a good list of questions. Keep them coming.
And then there's saying, so let me be a novice here, Mr. Doug. You can use Power Query. Do I have to download it, or is it part of this? Is it under data?
It's part of it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with going in the weeds here while we look. Queries.
Data, get and transform. Okay, yeah. So the left side, get data.
Okay.
Why is that grayed out?
Because I was in the formula command.
So there you go.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I was like, this could be it'd be a good side thing from Revu. Just do a special edition of Power Query and have Vince and Doug hold our hands through the basics.
I would assume I probably don't want all of this, but I'm just going to do it. So
yeah,
because that's, who I am.
Yeah. MCPQ.
Okay. So desktop. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter because it doesn't say, I already had a CSV.
Yeah. Actually, this ties into what we wanted to do with these estimation episodes, because when Doug and Vince were showing their amazing stuff, we're like, all right, cool. How do I get there? Right. So, I mean, if we got the time, let's dabble a little bit today.
I'm willing to get
everywhere.
Yeah, I'm willing to get yelled at again, because remember last time I did this, everyone was like, you should learn more about Excel. So I actually have been doing. I took time one day to redo a whole Excel spreadsheet of data, and it was pretty enlightening. Where did I save this?
I just been having ChatGPT teach me Excel.
Yeah,
it's
and
pretty
that
good.
Too. We have a good assistant, and it's free now.
Free for now.
Free what?
Free for now. They'll charge it soon enough.
How do I save this thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so Reexport.
Yeah, Doug's gonna be doing a whole thing over at the U Chapter 2 webinar in June. So tune in.
I didn't want an XML. I had a CSV. I don't know why.
Disappeared.
I thought I'd
see. Yeah. Speaking of Alex, I don't think it's happening. Sad day. Yeah. Don't think there's no way that they could. I mean, for one, it's a heck of a thing to organize and put on and do all that stuff, and to not give you enough notice if it's supposed to be in the fall. there's no way they could do it in 6 months.
So it's here. Do I need to open up another Excel to grab this data for Power Query? So like I've saved it a couple times.
I believe, Isaac, that's a question for DJ CJ. I'll make her answer that one.
Hey, don't make her upset.
Yeah.
So, okay, from file. Oh, it's a workbook. That's my fault. I'm just clicking the wrong thing. You know, we can all yell at me when I'm doing something wrong. So import, okay. Creating some things. Okay, so it looks like from my novice point of view of this.
Hit transform data.
Where's that? Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I was going to look at all the information. Okay, that's fine.
Well, that's what Doug said.
Okay.
Doug says
this is where we want to look at it.
Guessing so. Oh boy. Oh boy. In the weeds.
Oh, so it even shows you the status. Is that because what I didn't filter out to bring over? I'm assuming it just shows you. Yeah. So like the cost columns were already part of it, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't hard to bring the data over. Well, I guess I couldn't find the data part. So if we all need to know where that's at in this, and then you could probably ask your assistant, did you name Chat GPT yet?
No, I did not.
Okay. We should name the assistant.
Yeah.
Anyways, just for MCR, so when we say it, we don't have to say the full name. But, you know, ask your assistant. We'll just say the assistant. Fine, that's fine. Maybe some information. And maybe we do like teach, you know, MCR how to use Power Query as a group, right? As us being novices. And then we get to relearn. Great thing about us being humbled and realizing we don't know everything is that we get to be back in the shoes for understanding of basics for other folks, right? Trying to maybe learn Revu or something. So Jason and I always like to learn and be proven wrong. So we'd love to come through and do some of this if that's an interest of everyone, and how we could create some kind of cost estimate for this through here.
Yeah, I think learning is what we're all here for. Yeah, we need a data scientist on staff. There you go. Anybody want a job?
But then that ruined the fun of us learning, right? Hey, we'd be like, hey, can you go and do this? No, we'll have to go through the struggle of learning it and then creating it on our own.
We could call it TILE instead of MCR. We'll call it TILE. Two idiots learn Excel.
Yeah, perfect. There we go. Maybe we do a whole Excel on an MCR. If you all feel like we should deviate some of these episodes from just talking about Bluebeam, which you could ask at any point if we're learning about Excel, and then we go into some Excel stuff, by all means, we'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, well, we'll queue that up. I've already got the topics for March and April, but we'll see what May brings. But yeah, I think eventually MCR will evolve and do some other things. So like jumping into Excel, hopefully that's not a scary thought for some of you, but Revu is just one tool of the toolbox, right? So people will be using Excel more often. So how can we get more out of Revu by using Excel and Word and some of those other things? So yeah. So back on track here. Doug's going to walk you through the chat. I'm going to read the chat to you.
Okay.
Or Doug, we can.
He said the status.
Unmute you if you want to walk him through it, if that would be easier. I don't have that.
That'd be hour number 2.
Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Hang on, Doug. Get your microphone ready. You are on allow to talk mode.
Hey, you got me?
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
And I don't even know where the camera is at the moment. I'll figure it out. Anyway, so that's exactly what you do. Highlight the status column. And now up here where you want to highlight it. So click in the box right where it says status. So there you go. Now the whole thing's green. Now go up to where it says remove columns. Just directly above it. Okay. And just click that box. And there you go. So now it's gone. So that's just a simple thing in how you start your transformation of your data. So you brought in a bunch of columns that you don't necessarily want. Now you can do a couple at a time, select one, hold, and it works just like your standard Windows control. So hold control and select another one. Or you can select one, say you're going to select area, for example, area unit, that's fine to hold shift and click measurement link, and you'll get everything in between. So if you have to hold your shift key. There you go. Okay, so it works kind of like that. And then, so that's just simply to remove columns, but that's how you start washing your data. If you bring in columns that you don't necessarily want, you're just going to get rid of them. Okay.
Okay. So washing your data is step one.
Is step one. That's the whole point of Power Query. Now you see over here on the right, you've got your list of steps is what it's done. So your source file, it's your source file, and then it promotes the headers because you brought in the CSV. So it actually brings those column headers in as row one, and then it immediately promotes them to the column headers of the table. So that's what that promote headers line is. Okay. And then, yeah, it's telling you once you get into this a little bit, the codes there, that's the M code, and you can start learning a little bit about how that all works. Right.
So and this is the M code, which is
M code,
doing
correct.
Things with the information here.
Correct. Right. So you basically remove columns. So the code is table.remove columns. The change type is the previous step. And then it tells you which columns you got rid of. In this case, it's the status, space, and label column. So those are that's really it's something very simple, but that's how it starts to work. Right. And those curly brackets that are there, yep, it needs to be in quotes. So, yep, there you go. There you go.
Oh, magical.
Oh, I hit enter. That's wrong, huh?
That's fine. That's fine. You can hit that drop down. Yep. You're okay.
I just got to delete back. How do you run it?
You go to the end. Just go. No, it'll do it automatically as soon as you hit enter now. Yep.
Oh, it's because I hit enter in the stream.
Yep. Yeah. So it just breaks it down. If you get into code writing a little bit, that's actually the better way of writing it. And some of the other guys who code it will know what I'm talking about. But
is what, to go to the end and enter?
Well, no, it's kind of hard to explain, but how you want to write code is in different lines. If Liz were here, and I'm sure Alex knows too, and Isaac knows as well, that how you write code, right?
So it's more for the line items because that's how it's going to go through the hierarchy.
Yeah. It makes it easier to read.
Yeah. And then, so from there, now we're going to wash the data, remove things. Yeah. Now, what if we wanted to add things?
Getting into adding custom columns and changing things, that's a little bit more complicated. Okay. You can do a lot of things with it, though. You can do basic math. So if you've got a quantity, a length times a quantity of X number of things, I mean, there's basic math in there. There's a whole range of things you can do in here that it all depends on what you want to do, right?
Okay.
Like some of mine are.
What if I wanted to take this by a value to give me a total?
To which? What would you like to do?
This times a cost to give me a total.
Yep. So what you would do is go up top where you go add. You go highlight the measurement column. Okay, go up to add column up in the top left. And the header and the form up. There you go. Add column.
Your other up.
Okay. Now you want to do math here. So you see that one in the middle from number, and it says standard mathematics, right? About there. You would go multiply. Okay. Little window is going to come up, and you're going to multiply by the value. Now over where it says, right underneath where it says value, You want to change that to use values in column, and you want to change that to cost.
Oh,
Okay, now you're going to get some errors here because you have zeros. Now hit OK. Now you see there's a multiplication column that was added on the end. So that's basically done a multiplication of the measurement times the cost. Now, over under the applied steps, you want to see that on the right where it says applied steps.
Okay.
Hit double click the gear icon on the right.
This one?
Yep. Oh, it only brought that up. Okay, so that's
I didn't
what it
double
did.
click.
Oh, it should have brought up a. Okay, well, actually, if you can see it up in the formula bar, what you've done. So you've done table, you've added a column. Previous step is remove columns. The multiplication, you're going to multiply each number in the multiplication column, each number in the measurement times the cost column to get that number.
And if I bring this into Excel, because that's what it's going to do, right? When I'm done, I could add the costs, and this will be here and automatically do that.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Because, remember, once you re-export it to Excel, it doesn't contain the formulas. The formulas are here. Okay, so when you actually export it into Excel, it becomes a number. It's not a formula. Okay.
So then
but you can do a simple refresh, and it will update everything. It will update everything like it's a formula. It's just not instant. You just have to do a refresh.
Okay. So if I wanted to bring this in, what would I do now?
Home, close and load. Hit the drop down arrow on the side. Close and load to. Yep. There you go. Click existing worksheet. And click OK.
It doesn't matter what cell.
No, it doesn't matter what cell.
Okay.
You're at this point because you have nothing else on that data. There you go.
Oh, this looks clean.
It is.
It's way more.
Yeah, that's the whole point. So you've gotten rid of everything. Now, if you did, if you changed your data around and you did something different to make those numbers, all you have to do is do a simple refresh, and all the values will update. So if you were to click in, say, M9, cell M9, just click in that. Now you see up in your formula bar, it's a 0. It's not a formula. And that's what I was saying. It comes in as a table data as a number, not as a formula, even though you've done a formula in Power Query.
But I just need to hit refresh to give me the
You would
formula?
just need to hit refresh, and it would update if you had new data. So if you were to re-export your markup summary, okay, do some more data, re-export that markup summary, and then just hit refresh. As long as the file's all the same place, everything just updates.
So let's do this $2 or 20, whatever. Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then add a couple more markups real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or just,
We're getting fancy.
yeah, or just copy it, whatever.
So it's gonna do. I didn't save these, so.
And manipulate, just drag, make it. There we go. Beautiful. Have you been using Revu before? You're really good at this.
Brand new. Okay. So from here, at re-export. Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to re-export and make sure it's going. You're overriding the same file.
Yeah, so make sure it's not open.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think it's open.
Yeah, that the Excel file is open right there. Isn't that the one?
Yeah, because now it did D3.
Oh, so that's a new one. Yeah.
I could just close this and save it over that. Delete too. So file, save as this PC. Remember where you save things, everybody listening in. Don't do what I do.
Yeah, we don't want to go into how you make the file location dynamic. We only have 9 minutes. That takes a little bit longer.
So if I hit save on this one, which is the one that I used originally.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Replace it.
Yep.
And then close it, right?
Okay. Yep. Now give it, yep. If you just go up there, hit refresh. There you go.
Look at that. The numbers changed.
Power Query, not
You did your first one.
with expert Doug on, walking us through hand in hand, call it hand holding here, and learning this.
Yeah.
And
that's
that,
awesome.
that's kind of the thing. And one of the things, and I did kind of half mention this in my XCon presentation too, is that even because Power Query can get data from a PDF report, this will work even if you only have Revu Core in the new version, which it only exports a PDF report. I actually did a quick test on this, and the PDF tables that Revu exports are very readable, and it works quite well.
I love how they put X's finally here. Like, it was so confusing.
Yeah.
They've been updating this. If Bluebeam's listening, please put complete back all the way at the far right.
It makes more sense, yeah. Unless they just don't want everybody to get core.
It just, I'm like so confused by it because
it's highlighted. Yeah, like.
Well, I get this, but at least here, put complete all in the far right.
So just kill core.
Yeah. Well, don't kill it, but like, it's just confusing. It should be basic, middle, and then the highest. That's how we've all been, imprinted on
conditioned.
Sheets. So let's go here to measurements, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the exporting abilities. Yeah, you can't export a CSV file from the lowest tier.
Yeah,
exporting
right
project data right here.
Cannot do it in basics. Bummer.
Ooh, this is one too.
Yeah, with the custom filter search, but because you can export a PDF report, I can still get the data and watch it from a PDF table.
That's true.
Oh, you can? So if you printed a PDF in...
Yep. See, if you go get data, you just hit that there.
We'll go to this one.
And go from file. And right down there, it's from PDF. So unfortunately, though, you can't get the markup data directly from the PDF. Which Vince and I would, and a few others would absolutely love to be able to do. It saves an export step, but it's great.
Ooh, if you couldn't get it, maybe you do it the opposite way, which is export the data from a PDF that isn't legible to cells of data from Revu, right? Like this, you could do, hey, I can't get it from the PDF. Have you guys tried this? I'm just thinking.
Oh yeah, I do that. I mean, sure, that kind of stuff. But the markup list data we can't get without exporting a report, and that's kind of what we've talked about it at U Chapter 2. I talked about it a couple other places. I've tried to dig it out through various levels of Power Query to look at things, and it's just not there. I'm not sure where it lives. Right.
Yeah. Because
that I can get. That's fine.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
But this, right.
And sometimes that table is still a table in the PDF. So like table data, it depends on the way it's made. I can pull that direct from the PDF. But it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, because you're saying, well, if I can't export, how do I get this?
Yeah, I can't get that directly. I have to export. What we'd like to do is just get the markup data directly without doing the export step.
Well, let's try this.
Well, sure. But how long does that take versus an export?
All right. Well, I'm trying here, okay?
Yeah, we've played.
That could be one, like just screenshot and then export. So
yeah, we can get data from pictures. That's fine.
I think we all want to do things at one click, right? That's the
and this is why the your batch config file is so important. I talked about it when we were on a couple of weeks ago, but the batch config file so that your data is coming out consistently is so important, right? Power Query likes consistency, okay? And it makes life easier if your data going out is consistent, so the data coming in is consistent. If you've got different headers and different number of columns and whatnot, you can get errors that you didn't expect, right? And it's simply because things are hard coded. And yes, there are workarounds, but that takes more time to learn.
Yeah. So that basically, so folks like Doug and other folks that are doing a lot of the washing of content, creating a standard for export is what's really going to assist those folks. And how to do that is going through, well, make sure everyone has the same profile tool sets, and then exporting of that data, because they can go through and mess this up. As long as they had the same profile, they had the same exact types of custom columns and data, you can load this config and it will disallow and allow specific columns. And then it'll filter and sort your data so that when you do the output, it gives the information the way you need it to be.
Yeah, the only thing you end up changing there is the export file location, because that's it. That's the only thing my team changes.
Yeah, because the export to location is updating your file that you have saved for your data.
Yeah, we actually load it to a specific folder, and then we have the first line of the query, the source file looks for a specific file in a specific folder. So like I say, you can make it dynamic, but I don't have time to get into that right now.
Yeah, you're good. You've helped us out a lot. I mean, hey, Alex asked, when am I going to get the first bid sheet out? I'll send it to you today. And any other questions that we have. So Power Query, Quantity Link. If anyone from Bluebeam is listening in on an old thing, maybe we can get some insight. I know Sheldon, not the one listening in here, but from Australia that works for Bluebeam, sent me a video to review for some of the custom status workflows. So if this is something, that Bluebeam does listen into later on, maybe if you have some more shedded light and maybe some things you want to take from the community on Quantity Link not being as efficient in terms of the limitability of what you can bring in. So not me just saying it, but as we're hearing the voice of the community, as we look into these things.
Absolutely. All right, we got one more question in the Q&A, which is unrelated, and it's a quick one. But George is asking, quick unrelated question. Can you add a document tool like reduce file size or flatten to a tool set? And the answer is no.
You could do, I don't know if we would do it all in one, but that was the one where you can create your custom macros maybe. So if you wanted a macro. Yeah. Macro would be a button that's kind of similar to this, but it's running all of your options.
Right.
And there's a macro list. I think I saved it. If not, I can.
Yeah, that's right. I was. Yeah. Okay.
It's under tools, isn't it?
Is it? I don't remember where the macro list is. I think I bookmarked it. If not, I can look it back up.
Yeah, you can pin those commands to the toolbar, which would probably be a better way to do that, to keep your document tools away from your markup tools. But a macro that could do it all would be kind of.
No, that's wrong.
You could write one. This is a multi-step macro.
I forget where the macro list is though. There's a list of all the macros that you can create.
Document
step by step. What?
Go back to review.
Okay.
Document. And then.
Yeah.
There you go. Flatten an email. But
there's more. Like there was a list of things that you can go through and create, like copy and paste into here. Yeah.
So then you could have a magic button, George, that would do everything. And you just put it on your toolbar, not in the tool set.
Yeah. Like convert to grayscale.
If you really want to annoy somebody.
Well,
that would be cool. But hey, look, dude, today is over. We had a wonderful day. Thank you so much for sticking with us and our rabbit hole bouncing around. We warned you. We said we were going to do it. It worked out well.
We got too.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
No worries.
Next week will be Bluebeam Cloud, and I'll be doing that one solo. So we'll Michael will be potentially doing other things, but we'll be talking about Bluebeam Cloud next week. So bring your questions, and we'll go from there. Have a good week, everybody. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.